And David McIntosh, who was elected in 1994 along with yours truly, joins us right now. David, so good to see your smiling face from Newsmax Washington. Thanks very much for your time today.
My pleasure, JD. It's good to be with you.
Well, we all enjoyed our time in Congress. When you look back to the days you spent on Capitol Hill, how will that affect the way you lead the Club for Growth?
You know, in many ways, the mission is similar. We had a slow economy and a need for dramatically. We have an opportunity now with Republicans having the majority in the Senate as well as the House to set a new course for America, where we cut taxes and have tax reform, get a hands around the runaway spending, promote free trade. And one of the areas that I worked on a lot was the regulatory mess. Under President Obama, that's just mushroomed into a huge dead weight on the American private sector, businesses, and ingenuity. And the Republican Congress has the opportunity to change course. And the club's goal will be to support them when they do the right things, question them if they compromise too early with President Obama, and help get more leaders that believe in free markets and freedom elected to Congress.
David, mindful of the mission of the Club for Growth, and you talk about Republican ascendancy and majority in both the House and the Senate starting in this next Congress, which convenes in January. Given the ideological predisposition of President Obama, who doesn't seem eager to compromise on virtually anything, will the next 2 years simply provide a sketchbook, a template of Republican initiatives that will not be signed into law by this president?
Well, I do think that the goal for the Senate and the House should be to get bills to the president's desk. I also think he'll end up signing most of those, and some he'll veto. They'll have a battle over the override, and his allies in the Congress can many times support his veto. But many of those bills will move the country in the right direction of more freedom, more economic growth, and confronted with them, he'll have no place to hide and have to sign or not sign. So that should be their mission and the way that they evaluate how to move forward with important issues. Repealing the Obamacare legislation. Every single Republican that won in the Senate this time ran on that in the races where they captured the majority. They need to do it and do it in a serious way. The president's going to fight them every step of the way, so we'll get some of it done, and then some of it will create a record and a difference between the two parties that, as you point out, will be a very clear difference leading into 2016.
About a minute and a half remains in this segment. David, we're pleased you're going to stay with us for two portions of our program today. But I heard you say in your first answer, in your first response to my question, that you would sit back and take a look at the next Congress and applaud them when they do the right things, criticize them when they compromise too quickly. I'm wondering how you view the decision made, this bipartisan compromise to fund most of government clear on through September of 2015. In your mind, was that decision made too quickly? Should there have been a short-term spending bill to February until that new Republican majority comes in both the House and Senate?
Absolutely, that would have been a better process. It was not a good sign that the Republican House extended the Obama spending for a whole year. And I hope that they are going to be true to their word and switch to regular order, where they actually go through each of the spending bills. They called it a cromnibus. I call it a crumnibus because it was a terrible piece of legislation for the country and a failed opportunity to show the direction the new leadership will go in.
Fair enough. We'll leave it right there for now. We're going to step aside because of economic necessity, pay a few bills, and then come back and speak more with David McIntosh of the Club for Growth, or soon to be officially, I guess, in short order. You heard what David had to say. He said, forget the cromnibus. It was the Crumnibus. House leadership caved too early. Do you agree with Mr. McIntosh? Why don't you tweet me at Newsmax TV?